my dear one. You have felt it already, haven't you, dear heart? The quiet, loosening, the sense that something you have tried to hold together is nearing its end. Maybe no one else has named it yet. Maybe the days still look normal from the outside, but inside you can feel the ache of an ending approaching. You keep hoping for one more sign that things will stay. One more conversation. One more change. One more reason not to face what your spirit has begun to understand. Beloved, I know how tender this is. An ending is not only an ending. It stirs memory. It stirs fear. It stirs all the questions about what comes next when something familiar is no longer yours to keep. So when I tell you to prepare for parting, I am not speaking harshly. I am speaking carefully, because there are times when love does not cling. It blesses. It releases. It honors what was, without pretending it must remain forever. Precious one, this is not easy for you because your heart does not love lightly. You invest deeply. You hope sincerely. You stay longer than many people would. You keep looking for the thread that might still mend things. And sometimes that loyalty is beautiful. But sometimes, dear one, becomes the reason you suffer longer than necessary. You have sensed that the season is changing, perhaps in a relationship that no longer carries mutual care, perhaps in a place you have outgrown but are afraid to leave, perhaps in a role, a pattern, or a version of life that once held meaning but now leaves you tired, small, or inwardly divided. My child, the sorrow you feel is not proof that the ending is wrong. Often sorrow simply means something mattered. Often grief is love with nowhere familiar to stand. So do not shame yourself for feeling the weight of this. Do not call yourself weak because tears come easily, or because your thoughts keep circling what used to be. Tender hearts feel endings deeply. That is not failure. That is humanity. Loved one of your fears has been this: if I accept the ending, does that mean it meant nothing? No. What mattered still mattered. What was beautiful was still beautiful. What taught you, formed you, comforted you, or carried you for a time was not wasted just because it cannot continue in the same way. A season can be real and still be over. A bond can be meaningful and still be changing. A chapter can be sacred without being permanent. Beloved family, your support is more than help. It is faith in action. Because of you, these messages continue to reach hearts. May the Lord bless you, guide you, and stand with you in every season. Dear heart, you do not need to rewrite the past in order to survive the present. You do not need to make everything bad just to find the strength to move on. You do not need to pretend you never cared. You can tell the truth more gently than that. You can say, this mattered to me, and it is also ending. That kind of honesty is steadier than denial and kinder than bitterness. Beloved, I know another fear rising underneath this one. You are afraid of the emptiness after, afraid of the quiet, afraid of the space that will be left behind when this person, this place, this role, this old arrangement is no longer where you rest. You wonder what will hold you then. You wonder who you will be without what has become so woven into your daily life. You wonder if your heart will feel too exposed once your hands are no longer full of what you have been trying not to lose. Precious one, I am not leading you into emptiness. I am leading you through a doorway. A real ending, yes. A real ache, yes. But also a threshold, not punishment, not abandonment. A passage between what has completed its work and what has not yet fully come into view. Doorways can feel strange. You are no longer in the old room, yet not fully settled in the next one. That in-between space can feel vulnerable, but vulnerable does not mean forsaken. My dear one, preparing for parting does not mean shutting off your heart. It means loosening your grip with honesty. It means noticing what you already know. It means no longer demanding that what is fading must somehow stay to spare you pain. The pain may still come, but fighting reality adds a second pain that your spirit does not need. There is grief, and then there is resistance to grief. The first is human. The second is exhausting. Loved one, you have been carrying both. You have felt the sadness of what is ending, and you have also felt the strain of trying to postpone what your inner life has already begun to accept. That strain has made you tired. Tired in your thoughts, tired in your body, tired in the way you keep replaying possibilities that might restore what is already changing. Beloved, rest from trying to make permanence out of a passing season. Rest from searching for the one perfect sentence that would stop time. Rest from bargaining with what has reached its natural close. This is not giving up. This is making room for truth. And truth, even when it aches, can be a kind shelter. My child, if this parting concerns a person, be gentle with your memories. You do not have to despise them to move forward. Do not have to harden to survive. You do not have to turn love into contempt to gain distance. Sometimes the cleanest goodbye is not loud. It is a quiet acknowledgement that what was shared cannot be carried in the same way anymore. If this concerns a place, a role, or a long familiar identity, be patient with the disorientation. When a season ends, you do not only lose routine, you lose a version of yourself that existed there, that can make the leaving feel larger than others understand. Let it be large without making it your end. Dear heart, you keep asking whether you waited too long, whether you missed the moment to mend it, whether if you had said more, done more, been softer, been stronger, been less afraid, this would not be happening. I know those thoughts. I know how guilt tries to borrow the voice of wisdom. But not every ending is the result of failure. Some things complete naturally. Some things drift because two lives are no longer moving in the same direction. Some things weaken because they were not meant to hold the weight forever. And some things close not because you did not care enough, but because this chapter could not become the whole story. Sweet soul, release the burden of explaining everything perfectly. You may never understand every layer. You may never know exactly when the shift began. You may never receive the neat ending your heart would have preferred. Still, peace is possible. Not because every question gets answered, because your soul can settle even in unfinished understanding. Loved one, there is a river here. You have been standing at its edge, trying to hold what the current is already carrying forward. Your hands are tired. Your heart is tired too. You cannot stop every movement simply because it hurts to watch. Some things must be allowed to pass beyond your grasp, not because they were worthless, because their time with you has changed, and when you stop fighting the current, you may discover that you are still held, even while something moves on. Beloved, this is where many people become hard. They decide never to love so openly again, never to hope so sincerely, never to stay tender where life can change. But I am not asking you to become guarded stone. I am asking you to become wiser love, love that honors seasons, love that does not cling where peace has departed, love that blesses what it cannot keep, love that grieves honestly without losing its gentleness. That kind of love is strong, stronger than grasping, stronger than denial, stronger than pretending nothing has changed. My child, I know how strange farewell can feel before it is spoken. It lives first in pauses, in lessened warmth, in changed rhythms, the quiet knowing that the shape of your days will not remain the same. This is why your heart has been unsettled. You are already feeling the edges of absence. That anticipatory sorrow is real. It deserves compassion. It does not mean you are weak. It means your spirit has begun to sense what your mind is still trying to catch up with. Precious one, prepare gently, not with panic, not with dramatic finality, with tenderness. Make room inside yourself for the truth that this chapter is closing. Make room to honor what was good. Make room to acknowledge what hurt. Make room for the tears that do not need to be explained away. Make room for your own heart to move slowly. That is preparation too. Dear heart, you may worry that if you start accepting this, the grief will overtake you. But grief often becomes gentler when it is no longer resisted. It may still ache. It may still come in waves. Yet the ache changes when you stop fighting the fact that it is here. You do not drown by acknowledging sorrow. Very often you begin to float. Loved one, I do not ask you to rush toward what is next. I ask you to stop chaining yourself to what is ending. There is a difference. The future does not need to be fully visible for the present to be true. What is next can remain unopened for a while. You do not need to force a new chapter to justify closing the old one. That pressure only makes tender transitions harder. Let one thing be true at a time. This is ending. That is enough truth for today. Beloved, you may need to forgive yourself for how deeply you hoped. You may need to forgive yourself for staying longer than clarity would have preferred. You may need to forgive yourself for confusing loyalty with responsibility for another person's change. You may need to forgive yourself for the ways fear made you cling. Be kind there. Shame has never prepared a heart well for goodbye. Compassion does. My dear one, if words must be spoken, I will steady them. If silence is the kinder ending, I will steady that too. If this parting comes through distance, through circumstance, through loss, through a mutual knowing, or through one hard, clear decision, I will remain faithful to your heart in it. You do not have to know how to carry all of this at once. You only need enough grace for this hour, enough honesty for this moment, enough softness to stop arguing with what is already becoming clear. Sweet soul, there is dignity in a farewell spoken or held with tenderness. Dignity in not chasing what no longer returns freely. Dignity in not begging a season to repeat itself. Dignity in honoring what was real without trying to force it to remain alive in a form it no longer has. That dignity will protect something precious in you. It will protect your inner quiet. It will protect your capacity to remember without breaking. It will protect the part of you that still believes life can be good again after loss. Loved one, I know the temptation to rush ahead now, to fill the coming space before it even opens, to find a substitute, to distract yourself, to crowd your calendar, your mind, your emotions, so that absence never has room to speak. But absence, when listened to gently, can teach you what mattered, what changed, and what you need as you move forward. You do not have to fear the quiet after. Sometimes the quiet is where your heart begins to hear itself again. My child, you will not lose yourself by releasing what cannot stay. You may feel altered. You may feel tender. You may feel uncertain for a while. But losing a chapter is not the same as losing your whole life. Something in you will remain. Something in you will deepen. Something in you will be made more honest, more spacious, more able to love without gripping so tightly. That is not a small thing, dear heart. Some endings are chosen. Some are given. Some arrive slowly. Some arrive all at once. Whatever shape this one takes, I want you to know that your pain is not invisible here. I know the little details that others might miss. The routine that will change. Chair that will feel different. The message that will not come. The hour of day that may feel oddly hollow. The reflex of reaching for what is no longer there. I know these things matter, and because they matter, I will be especially gentle in the places where memory lingers. Precious one, you do not have to be brave in a loud way. Quiet bravery is enough. The kind that allows truth. The kind that blesses without clinging. Kind that cries without collapsing into despair. The kind that understands that love and release can exist together. I will help you learn that kind of bravery. Beloved, this farewell is not the end of your capacity for joy. It is not the end of belonging. It is not the end of meaningful connection. It is not the end of your story. It is simply the close of one room, one season, one arrangement that cannot carry you further in the same way. And there is mercy in recognizing that before your soul grows even more weary. Loved one, you have held on with sincerity. Now hold yourself with that same sincerity. Be as gentle with your own heart as you have tried to be with what you feared losing. That gentleness will carry you farther than force ever could. So tonight, if sadness rises, let it rise without panic. If memory comes, meet it kindly. If your heart feels the weight of what is nearing its close, do not rush to escape it. Sit quietly. Be tender. Know that I am near in this unwinding. And when the moment comes, whether in words, in distance, in acceptance, or in the simple inward knowing that it is time, you will not face it empty-handed. I will be your steadiness at the threshold. I will be your quiet when the room changes. I will be the softness beneath the ache. The river will keep moving. The doorway will open. And you, beloved, will be held through both the leaving and the life that waits beyond it. So rest now. You do not need to force the goodbye tonight. Only make a little room for the truth of it. I will keep close to your tender places, and when the hour arrives, I will still be here, calm as evening light, staying beside your heart as it learns how to release with love. Amen. Beloved family, if these messages have ever brought peace to your heart in a difficult moment, then you are already part of this mission. And if you feel led to support it, you'll find the link in the description and comment box. Thank you for walking this journey of faith with us.